Right, we're going.
Okay, cool.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To the podcast studio.
How we doing?
We're all good. We're all good. Happy to be here.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Can you bang me a bit of milk in my coffee?
I can. How much do you like?
Just a drop, please.
A bit posh milk, isn't it? Cravendale.
Yeah, brother's a farmer, so his milk goes to Cravendale, so I thought I'd just shout him out.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Looks lovely.
What have you
Milk
got
for
there,
anyone
Alf?
else?
You got a latte, have you?
Yeah. Do you know, I until this podcast, I didn't drink hot drinks.
Really?
Oh, really?
Well, you got told you
but-
couldn't sell
but
over
because
pint
we-
Yeah.
Because we bought
I'm on a
fancy
detox.
mugs, he just thought, I best fit in. I can't have squash in
Yeah,
there,
I can't
can
be drinking out of my Robertson squash bottle in a place like this now. Look at the wall.
Fruit shoot.
Well
Yeah, I
posh.
like it.
Yeah, it's very
posh.
good. Done a
Yeah,
good
we
job
thought-
here.
Well, our podcast was always bodged, as Mo thing at Nash, wasn't it? We just bought some mics, plugged them into a thing, and just went and sat in Kev's office when he wasn't there, and just
See
talked.
what happened.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's how it originally started. We literally
Yeah.
just bought
Right.
a couple of mics and sat down at a table, didn't we? And just started
Yeah.
talking to each other.
and then
And then it became not much, really.
You know, foamy walls.
Yeah, we said, well, we'll do one every week, I think was our beginning line. Yeah, it's no problem. And we realised we actually have jobs and they're a little bit more input than you imagine. But
Yeah.
no, we're back. Series 2.
Series
days.
2.
yeah, so welcome. But
Thanks.
Chris, you were nervous, I heard.
Was I nervous? Putting me on the spot like that so early.
Yeah, you just got to get these things out. I mean, you're nervous now. Why are you nervous?
I'm not so much nervous.
To be fair, I was a little bit nervous.
Well, yeah.
This a new thing, isn't it? It's like a
Yeah,
new
but
setup.
you guys do a lot of filming anyway, so you should be
Yeah.
naturals in
Yeah,
front
of
of a
course.
camera.
It's a lot
This
more
is-
relaxed like this, to be fair, and it's not that you got 2 cameras and 4 mics in front of you or anything.
Yeah, but you just ignore the cameras and we just chat.
of
I'm
course.
sure it will all just fade away shortly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We say, yeah.
Hopefully. Nervous
The
shrink.
thing is, you don't have to, there's no cuts, but you
Yeah.
can look at it a good or a bad way because whatever you say, we can hold you to rights now. We've got it. It's being recorded into a box. so-
Ransom.
yeah.
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 No, it's all good.
How you both been? All right.
Yeah, not bad.
Sweet. Busy,
Not
aren't
bad. It has been busy, yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I'll just say it.
Go on.
Go on.
Wofte, woft, woofty,
Waft.
Waft.
woft.
Waft.
Waft.
Told ya.
No, he called it woofed.
No, I didn't. I said waft.
We hear so many different
Yeah,
pronunciations,
so it's waft,
but
isn't
yeah,
it?
waft.
I always would have said woofty.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
of the E at the end.
Yeah.
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 Waft it is.
Silent E.
Waft.
Silent E.
Well, let's put like that's. I don't want to hear any other pronunciation other than waft.
Yeah, so this week on the podcast we've got the Waft boys.
Hello, hello.
Welcome,
Hello.
welcome. Introduce yourselves.
So I'm Louis, the short one of the two.
And I'm
And
the
this
big one
is-
of the 2, Tristan.
Tristan.
Sweet. And how did where is it just you two, isn't it? Oh no, you got one more now.
Yeah. So yeah, my other half, Rach, joined us. 5 weeks ago
Yeah,
now?
just over a
Must
month,
be
yeah.
5 or 6 weeks ago. Actually, during the lockdown period, she handed a notice in. Bit of a brave move.
Yeah.
All eggs in one basket, and that for our household as well. And yeah, she's now coming in to sort of take away some of the paperwork side of it, the admin side of it that we're always wrapped up in.
So you
day
get
to
to
day.
see her all day, every day.
I see her all day, every day. But to be fair to me, that suits me. I don't really get to see her that much. We moved out last year, and doing the silly days that we end up doing every day, you get back and see her for like an hour.
She must be
or
listening
two.
to this. That's why.
Yeah,
She
she will
brownie
be,
points, yeah.
No, they're fishing tokens, mate. Fishing
Yeah.
tokens.
Too right.
Yeah, but no, it's been really good since she's been in. It's helped a lot because obviously we want to be getting creative and busy and out on shoots and out fishing when we
Yeah.
can, and it just helps a lot. to
Need a
have that
sensible head in the
support.
office.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So
Yeah, it's surprisingly time consuming sitting replying
Yeah.
to emails, answering the phone all the time, and to have someone come in and take that weight off of our shoulders so we can get back to doing what we do best. Is,
definitely, yeah,
yeah.
it's been good. So.
Yeah, and I mean, you're quite a big outfit now, and just for there just to be 3 of you, how does it work in terms of what do you all do at the company?
Us two, we kind of share everything.
pretty much. Yeah.
Trist is more like you put all the video stuff
Yeah.
together, don't you? And that's your thing.
Videos and the marketing and all the photos
yeah.
you see and stuff like that.
But really, it's all a collective project.
Yeah.
We plan our marketing campaigns together. We execute them together, and yeah, with the items as well. We plan all that together. See it all through from an idea on a bit of paper to stock coming in the warehouse and going out.
Were you started the company together then? Was it both of you at the same time?
Firstly, how do you two actually know each other? How far back does this friendship go?
How did we meet?
So we met at a lake.
At a little club lake, wasn't it?
Oh God, years ago, wasn't it?
Mate, long time ago.
I don't even know what year it was. It was a long.
Around about the time you started the brand. I
Yeah,
think.
it was.
It must have been 2011, 2012.
Yeah, I'd say
Something
so. Something like that. We basically fished the same club water together.
No way.
And we didn't actually fish together at the time, did we? But we just became friends.
Well, it was my first session, and I actually, being the noddies that we were back in the day, it was my first ever session on the club lake, and I actually brought a friend down for a guest ticket, and both of us there were in our full DPM, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And little Lou walking down the stairs and hello on a bailiff.
Yeah, I did bailiff the water.
He threw the bailiff card out there.
Really?
Straight away. Yeah.
Straight in.
Badge on and everything, mate.
Tickets, please.
I was picturing you were school friends or something like that. You knew each other from a young age, but you met whilst fishing.
Yeah,
so.
whilst fishing.
Much,
We've grown up in the same town. Like, we're both from Chelmsford.
Bumping into each other on nights out and stuff.
Bumped into each other and sort of had a few mutual friends. But yeah, really got to know each other like on this particular lake, and then after that was bumping into each other out and about, and just becoming more friendly with each other. Really, like.
Was that quite long before you had the idea to start Wofte?
Similar sort of time, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was probably already started by then, but back then it was just an idea. It was just, and there was a gap for it, and it was started, and then I'll go on to it more later, but it was developed for a university, and it literally started by buying a batch of printed T-shirts and just selling them to friends on this lake. Actually, on this particular lake is kind of where it started to get
now
out there.
It's a really competitive,
Very,
like just within carp fishing.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of companies that are popping up over Instagram now, and it's not like it's difficult.
Yeah,
would you say you were one of the first to do that, like these independent carp clothing brands? I would, when I think about that.
As a small independent like bedroom business at the time, it was. There was another couple that were started up around a similar time.
Just did clothing, yeah.
Just did like clothing, like designs on clothing, like like your quirky designs on a T-shirt.
Just before we dive right into it, because there might be some people out there who actually don't know what you guys do. What is Wofte? It's a clothing brand.
It is a clothing label. Yep, like literally specifically designed for anglers, carp anglers. We're sort of broadening out a little bit more now into the outdoor and streetwear sort of markets, but predominantly we are a carp fishing clothing company.
Yeah, so when we say in that term you're one of the first, you're a little clothing company which has got into a pretty big clothing company, really.
Yeah, it has grown and flourished over the be 10 years next year.
I was literally just about to ask how long since
10 years. Yeah. I mean, I actually started it in probably 2010. But like I said, it was just an idea then, and it was just giving it out to friends and selling it to, selling T-shirts and hoodies to people on the lakes I was fishing at the time. And then that was kind of the big boom of social media as well, when you could, put it up and get a response. And then I'd be getting messages for things. I didn't even have a website to begin with. I'd just be getting messages, I want one of those. And, you'd exchange details and whatever, and then get it out there that way. And then, it was 2011 when it became a proper brand. Had a dedicated page for it on Facebook to begin with. And then with the rise of Instagram, followed through onto there. And it's just grown ever since, pretty much.
Yeah, mate, awesome. Well, we'll get into probably how you started, where it all came from in a bit. But as for yourselves, both keen at carp anglers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are indeed.
Very.
Helps, I suppose.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So, apart from your bailiff and duties,
what
was your...
Weren't a very good bailiff.
Were you not?
Nah.
What was your kind of entry into fishing? Were you always into fishing, carp fishing, or...?
You go first.
For me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Both of you, yeah. That's it. Well, it all started like most people, I suppose, sort of a little light rod, walking up and down the river by yourself, seeing what comes along. And then one day, because I had a slight interest in it, my cousin, John Pill, good old John, he took me to a little day ticket near me, which was absolutely stacked full of fish, called Zwolle. You might know it.
Oh, yeah, I know
we all know
Newlands.
And I did my first night with him, and I caught a 12-pound, 9-ounce common. And for me, that was the first thing I ever hit into that was sort of really pulled back, and it was like, there's a lot more out of there than little chub and perch on the river sort of thing. And well, next thing I knew, I bought my first carp rod from, I think it was Northfield Market. Yeah, going straight in with a proper gear. And
have you got any sponsorship ties? Is that why you're
absolutely not. And straight back up to noon and saw my little one rod and a bank stick, and it's kind of went from there really. And here we are now.
Yeah, mine's kind of similar. Sort of started. There was none of my family fish at all.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a friend of mine at school. He went carp fishing with his dad and his brothers. I'd already dabbled with like float fishing on the river. We're right near the Chelmer, so catching pike as well. I used to pike fish in the winters and catch like tiddlers, like roach and perch and small fish. And then when I knew that this particular friend was into carp fishing, he said, just come along and try and catch something a bit bigger. Because I didn't really catch any big pike when I was younger. I'm actually scared of them now because I've got a little nick on my finger when I was young. I can't.
I know how to hold them now.
I've never chinned out
tried,
a pike.
mate.
I can't do it.
I've tried taking him, he won't have it. He's
Can't
scared of the little spiky bits on a perch. He won't go anywhere near the gill rake of a pike.
This might just on that point. This might stitch up Lou Porter. Lou, if you're watching, I'm sorry, mate, but I've got to tell this story. We went filming Steve Briggs. Like, this is terrible fish care, so I hope he doesn't get in trouble. But this is amazing. We went filming Steve Briggs in France, Ictus Lake in France. Really poor shoot. We got dropped in the swim, like right in the middle of the lake, and we were only going to nick fish that were passing from one end of the 70 acres to the other and through this thin channel. And so caught a couple quite early on, but then we were there for like 10 days, nothing happening. In the downtime, he'd bought a little spinning rod, so we were catching little pike and that sort of thing. And Lou had worked out, if you go out in a boat into the middle, there's a little channel where the old river ran, a little bit deeper, and he could hook. Lou hadn't done a lot of pike fishing, and Lou didn't really like holding and chinning the pike. And I remember just sitting in this little cabin with Joan and Steve, just chatting away and just hearing him go, "Dan! Dan!" And I look out, and he's just coming back. I know he had a little electric motor. He's just coming back holding the rod, and I've seen this pike, which must have been tiny like this, like £1, £2, just spinning as he's just holding it, as he won't dare
Trolling with a live pike.
Honestly, he was just coming back, and this poor thing's just going just like rotating as he came all the way back in, like 200 yards. And I just got to it. Must have been so dizzy. Just unhooked it. I was like, "There you go, Lou, bless you, mate." Like, it was just, I just remember just looking out and just seeing this poor pike just rotating out in the water.
Good angling, Lou.
Yeah.
Good angling.
Well played.
Landed it,
Yeah.
and it swam off fine. So
That's the
we
thing.
go.
You see them in the margins, and then you think, "Oh, I'm going to have a go for that."
Yeah.
And I've been guilty. I hook it and go, wish I hadn't done this.
No.
There's many a photo of me holding it against my body, just trying to think what to do.
Protecting
Like,
your
just,
fingers.
we're all really, really good anglers.
Yeah.
no, I'm a pro now.
Yeah, but go on. Sorry about that.
Where was I? So yeah, I used to fish for sort of pike and small fish down the river. And then this friend said, "I'll come carp fishing." Took me carp fishing, and I caught one. It was an £8 ghosty. Got a picture somewhere. And then from there just built the equipment and started going carp fishing pretty much. There was some other friends at school that were into it as well, like just sort of the same sort of stages. So we were all sort of at the same level, like ability and skill wise and everything like that. And yeah, we just all started going. We joined the local club and fished on the Chelmsford Angling Waters when we were really young. I think I actually won a membership by casting into a bucket 2 years in a row. So I got like a free membership, which is brilliant when you're young. Like, and it just grew from there. Haven't ever really been like a part of a syndicate or anything like that. I went from the club lakes to another club lake that was kind of run as a syndicate, and that's where we met.
Bumped into each other. Yeah.
Bumped into each other. Sat there in one of the swims, stealing my rollies all day.
It got to the point I was like, "I lose fishing over there." Pop over, I'll make him a cup of tea and he'll feed me rollies all day.
But yeah, that's sort of how I got into it.
Yeah, so you've only ever really fished these little Essex club waters and
Yeah.
been around Essex, but then I guess, as it does with everyone, the business kind of took over, and I'm assuming business is kind of first and fishing comes second nowadays.
Definitely, yeah. It's, I mean, we love these planned trips that we do to Europe. Like, I'm sure we'll get onto that later as well. But yeah, those kind of trips, I really sort of savour them trips because I don't get the time to do overnight. I did a few years ago, doing overnighters on a local small water, but I just don't get the time, and I need, I like to come into work and get the day done. I'm usually there till quite late. We all are, and just doing the overnighters is just difficult. It's just so difficult.
Demanding, aren't they? It's not so much, just getting down there just after work, and sometimes it's pretty much dark anyway, and then you got to find your spots, and then you got to cook your dinner. It's midnight, so by the time you get to bed and you're packing up at first light, and if you haven't caught one, doing a few,
and then you're done, ain't you? You're fucked for the next day at work.
Exactly, and then, or you catch one and you're like, oh, I'm buzzing, get down the next day, smash out work, but then sometimes your work suffers.
That is so true.
As soon as you get into the groove and you're in the zone, you're kind of like, you're thinking about your fishing, and then obviously your work's going to suffer a little bit.
I've been guilty of it where like, I won't go.
Always comes in the office, didn't catch again.
Where what I was going to say is I'd sacrifice not going fishing because I know I got loads to do at the office tomorrow. I don't want to be fucked. I won't be able to get it all done.
You need your energy, don't you?
Yeah, and it's got to a point where sometimes like that does come first, and I can imagine like owning the business, which it is like, it's not where like me and Alf we're cogs in a part of this business, but that is you. That is like Wofte is you. Like
all the responsibility lies on us, doesn't it? So we're dipping into like even packing orders. Like we still pack orders. Like we all do everything. We pack orders. We develop the products and see it all through the marketing campaigns with it. The shoots. The weekends away fishing, everything rolled into one is literally 3 people.
Where are you based now? Still?
Yeah, we're just outside of Chelmsford.
Are you in the same premises where you started off?
No. So we had it was all run from my parents' home when I used to live at home. Just storing boxes in the dining room, the kitchen, the garage, the loft, my bedroom. They were boxes everywhere. And it was when it sort of started to take traction, when it started to actually like really take off, probably 5 or 6 years ago now, is when my parents were like, you need to find somewhere to put this.
Front room,
you need to get yourself somewhere that's not in our house to store your boxes.
Get out, basically.
Yeah, in a polite way.
I got to the point where we were stitching labels on beanies in your front room doing all-nighters and going to work the next day.
Yeah.
Cutting out and sticking all the addresses on the bags. It was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because at the time, I was training to be a chef.
That's right.
And I live in Chelmsford, and I was going to Colchester College on a Monday night doing like another course. And I finished there at 9 on a Monday night. Get to you for 10, something like that. Then we'd start the stitching and the packing for the night, and all of a sudden it would be 1, 2 in the morning, and and then it was more than the Monday nights. It was Wednesday nights, and it was the weekends, and got to the point I was sometimes staying in your spare room at your mum's house because it was just like, oh fuck it, I've been here so late now, I might as well stay the night.
The cooking fell off the edge then.
Morning, Mrs. Russo, do you want a cup of tea? It was like that, wasn't it? But and obviously, so going back to the chefing a little bit, I was a chef pretty much straight out of school. Started working in the kitchen really, really early because that's what I wanted to do. Like, I was 13 when I started washing dishes, and to cut a very, very long story short, I mean that was literally 7 years of working in the kitchen, and then it sort of came to light that there might actually be an opportunity to do this with you. And I sort of ditched the chefing because that's such a demand. It's a lifestyle. Being a chef, I was working 65 hours a week, earning minimum amount, just because that's what I wanted to do. But I couldn't see a sort of future in that. So
you went to college as well.
Sacked that off. I did all sorts of different courses, extending what I was doing, whether it was evening courses or 1 day a week, or all my MVQs and all that. But anyway, I ditched that off, which was time well spent, and then started building, self-employed, knowing that I sort of had the flexibility. So a couple of days a week, I could say, right, won't do building this week. I'll go and help you at the Colchester studio. And then as time's gone on, and we've got a bigger unit and got speeding tickets moving from others as well, which you still haven't paid me for. And
your lunches must be good at work though, Lou. Surely he cooks up a feast every time.
Amazing what you can do with a microwave nowadays.
Yeah.
But
Sick.
But yeah, that was the first place that we got after sort of, you know, politely being asked if like we could get a space from my parents. We had a little, it was a room really, probably only about maybe 2 times the size of this room. So it's quite, you know, quite for a business, it's quite a small room.
Yeah.
And in there is where we were printing all the t-shirts ourselves literally on a single carousel.
The sweatbox.
Like it got really hot. It's literally just it was probably supposed to be an office, but we were using it as like our storeroom, our production, our shipping, everything. And I worked in Ipswich at I had a full-time, bearing in mind I had a full-time job up until 5 years ago. So for the first 5 years while it was growing, I had a full-time job.
Dedication,
same with Trist, same with Trist. And it was just where it was in Colchester, it suited Trist obviously coming back from that way or being in that area, and me working in Ipswich. It was on the way home, so I'd go home on the way home every night, stop in, get the orders done for that day, take them home with me, and then take them into work. And on my lunch break, I'd be posting parcels and then going back to work and then doing it all over again. And we did that for probably, like 2 years. And then that's then when we decided to move into a proper, like, small warehouse unit.
Bit close to home as well, isn't it?
In the outskirts of Chelmsford, really accessible for us to get there from our homes, and outgrew that in a year. And fortunately, the next the unit up from us came available. We took that one, which was double the size, and
took that one as a shell, didn't we? And that's
did
that's
a
when
lot
the
of work
building
to
came
it.
in, wasn't it?
Yeah,
kitchens
definitely.
in, offices, dividing walls, made a studio upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a lot of work went into that whilst we were still working out a relatively small unit next to it.
Yeah,
and
and then this year we've ended up going back into our original one and one up from there. So we've now got 3. We've got a lot of space now, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
One of them is now because there was a period of time between working in Colchester with the printing equipment. We then went into this new unit where we are now, and we were purchasing everything in already done and bagged and ready to go because of the demand was so high. We could not keep up with the printing. Like at one point we had probably a 14-day lead time on orders, which obviously it was very aware that it was that kind of lead time, but it's just not ideal.
You order a t-shirt, you want it.
You want it
next day delivery.
You want it
if you can. Like
these days, you buy something, you want it yesterday. Like at the time, while we were small and we were managing it in a small scale kind of way, it was working okay. So from Colchester to Chelmsford, we put the printing gear away and brought it all in, bagged, tagged, ready to go out. That's when we started working with retailers as well. So, you know, the whole process of just having stock and shipping it out is where we needed to be. But yeah, this year we've been able to bring all the printing back. So with this expansion that we've had this year, we've kitted out a whole unit with production, screen printing production again.
Wow.
So we now touch everything ourselves.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. I thought you
really
made designs.
Yeah.
Sent it off to a company and said, we want all of this printed. And they or printed or stitched it, and it came in and it went out. I thought that's how you worked.
Up until this year, that's how it was. Like we've got worked with various factories in China, and it's from design to finished product is how we have been up until this year. But we've decided that the way that we want to grow is to have a much bigger, wider range of items available online in smaller quantities. So it's more limited edition. You're not going to bump into that many people that are wearing the same item. There's a lot of choice. So we've literally invested quite heavily in this whole production unit. We've still got a lot to go with it. We want to get our embroidery back in as well, because we're subbing that out at the moment to a local company that we work with.
Gives you a bit of heritage, I suppose. Would you call it that? Heritage? Sort of its own.
It's done a circle.
It has done a full circle.
It's done a full circle.
Yeah, back to where we started at a much bigger scale.
Yeah. Like the very first start was designing the prints and then having them printed and selling them. Then we wanted to print ourselves because we wanted to have a broader range, but on a much, much smaller scale. And then we've obviously gone to bringing it all in done to keep up with our demand. But now we've managed to find a balance between having the demand there, which is increasingly growing all the time. Every month it's busier. We're like constantly doing records all the time. But we've now got the added advantage of being able to produce smaller run stuff alongside the bulk. So we've got best of both worlds.
Yeah, sick.
It's very clear that you've put a lot of effort in to get to the stage you are now. I suppose, how did you find it rewarding? I mean, you said you outgrew within a year. Did you imagine that happening within a year? Surely it's just this.
We took on that unit with a bit of extra space, didn't we?
Yeah.
And even stuff like all the shows, like all of our show stands and stuff like that, like, that all adds up, and to still have like quite a small, relatively small area, that takes up all this sorts of space. And then as soon as you put all the show stuff away, you get another order in, organise that, and it's just about filled it all. You think, shit, run out of space here. And then like by luck, the next door unit came up, didn't it? And it was just like, happy days, rack that out, and all of a sudden that's the next step.
What a result that is, eh? When you need something to turn up.
But it was lucky that happened, because we nearly went for a smaller unit before that, wouldn't we?
We did, yeah.
And that would have had no chance of other units coming up next to it. So it all happens for a reason, doesn't it?
It does, definitely.
And also, how did you learn how to do all this? Like,
what, the printing side of it?
Yeah.
Through at university, it was part of my degree.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where it kind of comes in. I did a graphic design degree.
Yeah, tell us where
Uni.
this.
So that was at Essex Uni in Colchester, which is where I got the contact from for the studio, the first one in Colchester. And I did a 3-year course in graphic. I think it was graphic media. I think it might have been called, actually. So that basically covered a very small sliver of photography, mainly film, SLR stuff.
Yeah.
Printmaking, which is screen printing, letterpress, vinyl, cutting shapes out of vinyl and stuff. I've always been quite a creative person, and that's pretty much where I picked up the skills for the screen printing. And my other half, Rachel, we went to uni together as well. Spend a lot of time together, didn't we? Over the years. 12 years next year we've been together.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, a long time. And she was she was doing a fashion degree at uni at the same time. So, and it was around that time when we were at uni, which I think my graphic side met with her fashion side, and that's where I started looking at, I'd love to start a brand. I'd love to be a brand owner. I love my fishing, combine the two. There was a gap, and that's where it sort of fused, and that's where it started.
Yeah, cool. So it was more of a side project at uni?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was never, ever intended to be like this.
Yeah. It was just...
Yeah, it was literally just... a
way to chat.
Just a cool project. Yeah. Well, didn't have to do that, but yeah, it was just like being a designer. It was just like a rewarding project to run. Like having a brand, having designed logos for people in the past, and looking at other brands. It was kind of just something that I wanted to start, and it had the timing was all right for it.
I think definitely
that's the key thing.
Like you say, well, we touched on it earlier, there wasn't many carp fishing clothing brands, so there was this massive gap where if someone did it right as well, because there is definitely a culture of young anglers who are quite trendy. And I always wanted to wear fishing clothes, which are a bit unique, and my mates down the pub won't be wearing them.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be fishing as well, but without, a big hook and line thing on it. I wanted to. So there was definitely that market there, and I guess you boys just spearheaded into it and smashed it, really. Because you had, like, genuinely without... I was about to say sucking you off. Sucking you off. I have to beat that one out. Yeah. No, but without bigging you up too much, like, I think you boys have smashed it, and there's not many other brands that I can think of, really. Like, there's a couple of boys, like, big ones in there, like Navitas did very well, but apart from that, like...
Yeah, there's a few more nowadays, like you touched on earlier.
Yeah, nowadays,
there are, and I mean, it is inspirational to see that, because obviously, like, we sort of get a lot of imitation as well. It's like
flattery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a
finest form of flattery.
Yeah,
flattery,
exactly. But we don't take it the wrong way. It's sort of like, we sort of feel like we're going in the right direction, and it's inspirational. It keeps us on our toes.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have that, then we may be more relaxed. I don't know. But
on that subject, then, do you have any protection over just
we do have like
clothing
over like logo copyright and things like that, basic protection.
How much protection can you have for a design though?
You can't
of a t-shirt.
You just I think in any industry, I mean, it's at the end of the day, although all of our garments are our own garments, like manufactured to our own specification for the sizing,
fabrics,
the fabrics, you know, we buy fabrics and ship them to our factories and communicate different people in China together. We put all the pieces of the puzzle together to then be cut and sewn together. And then the finishing comes after. So, but even with that, I mean, we have our own patterns for our t-shirts, for our joggers, for hoodies, for coats, you know, and different suppliers, but you just can't paint in a hoodie.
Yeah, of course.
At the end of the day, it's a hoodie.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, I don't think it's even sort of protectable.
No,
do you know? So
it's your brand then, so your brand shines through, and I suppose what leads away, which is
take the name and that's about it.
That's
really.
it. Yeah.
Going on the name. So obviously it started at uni. Because what's it stand for?
It stands out for watch out for them eels.
Yeah.
And
is there a story behind that?
There is a story behind that. There's there used to be at the time a comedy series with Noel Fielding, The Mighty Boosh.
Yes, that takes me back. That does, mate.
Yeah. I haven't watched it for a while. I might actually bring that. I think it's on. Might even be on Netflix. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's accessible online. But yeah, that was out at the time, and me and my group of friends my fishing group of friends, we used to just banter about it. He plays different characters, so he plays this one particular character.
Just keep this nice and
sorry,
close,
mate.
yeah.
He plays this character called the Hitcher, who's like this Cockney geezer, top hat, polo for an eye, green face, and he always talks about his eels, like, you want to dance with eels, boy, and all this stuff. And we just used to keep saying it to each other. It was just one of them sayings that stuck. And I thought we might have even been at a festival or something. And I remember my mate Brett, there was this girl walking along like this muddy area of V Festival, and she had like not these high heels, but like these wedges on in the mud, like proper thick mud, and she was slipping around all over the place. And he was like, "Oh, watch out for the heels under your feet, girl," and all this stuff. And
the rest is history.
And then from how I got from that to a clothing brand, even I don't know, but it was. I remember using it as like a tag, like on my college books and stuff. There's like some really early books with like Wofte written on it. Yeah, with like all these parts of it. It was all hand, because the original logo was all hand cut. It was hand cut pieces of paper scanned through a scanner to get the positive, and then played around within Illustrator.
Right, cool.
Because I was looking when I was at uni, I was into like traditional print methods, and that's where the screen printing, the lino cut come from, the letterpress, and I was really into like this sort of retro way of using print. And how I got from that character, the Hitcher, to watch out for them eels, the clothing brand now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
it works.
Like
it just came together. Obviously, it's got a fishing reference.
Yeah, which is wicked.
The name Wofte, Wofte, hook baits. Yeah. Watch out for them eels. Obviously, eels are fish, and it's maybe an amalgamation of all of it together. And
I guess the longer you go on as well, and the more you look back on how that name came about, it's just like, how did we get it? Yeah. How did we get it from that?
Really?
Some old bird in the little hills going, watch out for them eels, girl.
Did she get royalties for that? Are you still in touch?
She'll hunt you out now.
Yeah. No. No, but yes. It's strange how things come together, isn't it, really?
It's always when you least expect it, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. It's not your sort of typical... There's obviously brands out there who have a name, and it might mean something to the creator, but not necessarily to the general public. Yeah. Or surnames usually form a brand. But yeah, it's Wofte.
Completely random.
Yeah, nice.
But with a story.
Sums us up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that. I like that it's got a bit of a story behind that. How do you guys keep quite... Because you're always like updating your stuff, and it's always looking banging, like designs and that sort of thing. How do you keep so fresh and so, I'd say, on top of the clothing game in the industry? How do you keep on top of it?
Just keeping an eye what's
Yeah.
It's about.
You take a lot of inspiration outside
yes.
of like and what's happening. Yeah,
pretty much all of our inspiration comes from the streetwear market, nature, outdoors. Pretty much that is where we look. We don't really look within the industry because we like to bring new ideas in. And we feel like we do that quite well when we find we might pick up on a concept or a trend that's starting to take off in the streetwear market or the fashion industry. We'll bring it in and put our spin on it and always having a relevance to like the fishing market as well. So that's kind of an initial starting point. It's usually a chat. I was going to say, I bet it's just a constant bounce. Like, this is pretty sick. This is pretty cool. I'm the world's worst distractor. I distract him 24/7, and I've started to do it to Rach as well.
It's good. That's how we get stuff done.
But that's how it. Yeah. We'll just be talking about something. We'll have something going on, or we have an idea for something, or I've seen something, or I've dreamt about something. That's usually dreams. Like,
coming in the morning. Oh, this dream last night.
This weird dream,
and then
we'll go tangent. Circle
new range,
and it'll be like, oh, we've got a concept for something. We'll use that on the whiteboard, and then it will come back to it.
Do you give yourself like X amount of time before you release the next range, or is it just a case of I've had a good idea, let's get it made, or do you give yourself time frames, or
a lot of it's just trying to time it wisely, really. Isn't it? I mean, a lot of the time we'll get an idea, try and get a design and a concept together, work on it together, or get our designer sort of to have a bit of an influence on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of while that's being made, sort of have a little look as to when we want to release it. And then next thing you know, we've got an item in our hand and we've got a model, we're going on a photo shoot all over the UK. And then by the time that's done, it's usually about time to release it and we'll make it.
Usually it's always, there's like a part of the process where we'll sort of, because we usually just plan for drops. Like we'll plan for spring, summer and autumn, winter, and then whatever else happens. Usually 2
big drops.
And then usually, I mean, in more recent times, we've been doing drops, like other drops around sort of certain dates and things that we've picked up from. But it's usually we'll in the winter we'll be working on spring, summer. We've usually got samples in by before Christmas, and we're looking at them and everything. And there's a part of the whole process where it just fuses, and it will be ideas that we've got written down that might not sort of work together, and then at some point in the process, sometimes usually when we're shooting it, or when we've got all the samples in all on a rail and we can separate things out. This might be better for next year for autumn, this might be better for midsummer, but there is definitely a part where it just gels, and it just comes together, and then there'll be a name for the drop, or there'll be a name for the collection, or there'll be some kind of concept for it to gel it, and it's that part is the most exciting part, because it just rolls all in together. Everything kind of makes sense, and it usually sort of that latter part of the design process is where it fuses.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people take it for granted about how much really actually goes into it, like you were just saying, and then like a name which kind of represents the drop and then the collection. And I guess people just think you sit down in the morning one day and go, we need a new range, let's just bang some ideas and print it and go. But there's just like, it's so well thought out, and I think again that really solidifies why you boys have such a strong brand, is because it's not just chucked together every few months. It's
definitely not. I mean, with experience, we've built up our sort of staple fabrics that we know are brilliant. Like, they can be washed week in, week out. They can be abused, and they still retain their, how they should be.
Because a t-shirt ain't a t-shirt, is it? You'll know better than anyone. Like,
no,
getting a decent t-shirt with a decent fit, decent shape, and that sort of thing, and even those details, like, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's been trial and error and experience, obviously, like getting the right factories working together, the right suppliers, the right fabric factories who are producing the cottons and making the rolls, and it is just literally rolling it all in together, and having these staple fabrics that we can use and rely on. It's a lot easier now to create new products, because whereas at the start we had to obviously go through all that trial and error,
do the design and find the best, and
experiment
Now, one you don't need to think about.
No,
it's just
But we are constantly looking at new fabrics, new finishes, everything. Like the autumn stuff is all, we've got some new finishes in there.
Gold plated.
That we haven't used yet. Yeah, gold plated. So yeah, it's kind of an ongoing thing for us. It doesn't really, that part of it doesn't end.
Yeah.
The sourcing and the research and the development just doesn't end. It's constant. My phone's been pinging while I've been sitting waiting here today with samples coming into the office today.
Yeah.
So it's
Who's at the office then? Your missus?
Yeah, Rach is there holding the fort.
Yeah.
So then I guess there was a point where you say, right, we've got such a strong almost connection from like our brand and how we want it to look and the website and that sort of thing. Then there's a point where you go, we've got to put ourselves out there and really like sell that sort of, I can't think of the word, kind of just let people know what you're all about.
Yeah, the lifestyle side of it.
Yeah. And that's where, Trish, you do a lot of the marketing and the video production.
Work, yeah.
Was there a conscious decision where you went, we need to put ourselves out there a bit more in terms of YouTube, big videos, that sort of thing? Because I've noticed in the last at least 12, 24 months where you've just gone...
Yeah.
We've always had an interest, obviously, with cameras.
Yeah.
I suppose that's always a strong starting point. And then naturally with photos, especially in this modern day and age, comes video. And then it kind of goes back to the days when we were on the old club lakes, like messing about with the cameras, trying to film each other, and just like, nah, that was shit, do it again. And the amount of stuff that we filmed and just ditched because it was just no good. And then one day we just sort of thought, right, fuck it, if we're going to do this, we might as well go on a trip and do it. So I think we came up with the concept of Between the Seams, which is kind of like just
great name,
Between the Seams.
Yeah,
which is just everything that goes on around us running the brand, essentially, with our fishing thrown in the mix as well. But now it's just turned into us more fishing, really.
Yeah.
So did you have much experience, Trish, with cameras, like the video side of things? Is it just been a trial and error thing to get?
Pretty much been trial and error, to be fair.
I love it. Like that's how you just thrived, didn't it? Like
go.
Just self-taught, really.
Yeah.
As I say, just bought a camera, messed about with it, and
well, we were saying because we were chatting about that yesterday. And we remembered like when, because Trist had see, I touched on photography at uni, but more film, like developing positives and film and stuff. But Trist had a DSLR when we were younger, and it was quite new, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he come round
Very
and
new.
we both we were like, he said to me, "Oh, do you know how to use a camera?" And I was like, "Yeah, a bit right." Like if you, yeah.
How hard could it be?
Oh, funny enough, I've got some stuff to shoot, actually. So was it a bit of bed linen out your mum's cupboard?
Yeah.
Hanging it on the wall. Got the camera out and it was like, oh, it's too bright. Shit, what do you do? I was like, I don't know. What's the M mean? What's the green thing? Put it on green.
Well, you're not used to the old cameras where you throw the towel over it or whatever it is, the cover, and
No, I've not used one of them. It was more like
film cameras,
like film SLRs, with black and white film. And then the process of how to develop them in the darkroom, like it was part of like the course. But
that's how I imagine when someone says like a photography course at uni or something. I imagine just that big square box thing in like vintage and keeping it all sort of like artsy and creative. But
and the film kind of just went from there, really, wasn't it? Yeah. And then, as I say, we came up with a bit of a concept of Between the Seams, and then one day it was just like, right, we'll go to a day ticket and I'll film you.
Yeah.
And that was over a place you all know well, Chigborough.
Yeah. Yes.
We love Chigborough. And pretty much one camera, one lens, shitty old mic.
Yeah.
And you caught a couple of fish off the top and put it together, and it's actually quite good.
Yeah.
So that was the first piece of video
thing. Yeah. We filmed a couple along the way of that. So we filmed that. We filmed me over Lake Meadows, and then I think one other one as well. And we made a decision at that point to put all 3 sessions into one film. So it was like an 1.5 hour long film. We did that 3 times, I think. So film multiple sessions and put them into 3 long films sort of thing. And then one day we were like, actually, it was when we were filming, we'll get onto this a bit more in a bit, Create Your Own Path.
Yeah.
Which was going to be Create Your Own Path as a whole film. We filmed one friend of ours on a boat lake, another friend of ours at a place in middle of France that we called the Jungle Lake.
Yeah.
And that was, again, going to be that one long film. But we made a decision to split it up into smaller ones. So there was the Boating Lake and then the Jungle Lake as 2 separate films. And then we were torn as to what to do with the third. And we were trying to find someone else to film. And we were just like, look, what's better than just doing it ourselves, really?
Yeah, got to have that experience, going on a road trip.
And off we went.
Yeah.
but booked a road trip. We sort of got a rough plan together, didn't we? And then jumped on the ferry, and that was a whirlwind, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really realise it, but I've, like, just chatting to you boys, like, you're both, like, proper work out on the way kind of guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Wing it.
Absolutely.
Wing it.
Yeah. Which is...
Wing it, see what happens. If it don't work, do it
so
again.
many people just dwell on, like, I'm a bit like that, like... If you want to do something, you got to do it. Like, have a plan, make sure you do it perfectly. And I know so many, but I'm not actually that bad at it. But I know some people who are just so like, we can't take that first step until everything's ready. Where you're just like, grab the camera bag and just roll with it. Like,
got to have a go, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, on
with everything, the clothing, the filming, the everything, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, one of these trips, we I think it was the boat lake, wasn't it? We bought a drone, and we hadn't even used it, and we flew it over 400 acre lake. Like one of the first times we flew it.
Just lost sight of
it.
We
didn't know what we were doing with it.
Okay, how do I get this back?
Yeah. home. But
it's just a classic example of us winging it and see what happens. Really.
Yeah, we just like to try. Like with the trips abroad, like we've done a few more since we filmed that road trip. But it is so easy to do, and I think it puts a lot of people off doing it because it seems like you need to have a plan. Obviously, you've got to do your research, make sure you've got the right licenses, like the basic sort of checks. But you can literally just, once you've got your research and a few areas that you want to go, you can just go and do it.
Yeah.
Literally book a ferry and go without much. I mean, we've booked a few trips. We've booked a ferry like the day before we've gone.
Yeah.
And then
we've got maybe like the first venue where you know you're going to spend
where
that
you know
night
we're going to go. Yeah. And luckily, I mean, in the films, the first place that we've picked to go has turned out to be good, and it's just gone our way.
Yeah.
But yeah, a more recent trip was the complete polar opposite.
Oh, really?
Completely polar opposite.
Well, that was a classic example again of a very, very last minute trip. It must have been the Thursday morning or something.
Yeah.
Was this the lockdown trip? Was it?
Yeah.
Just after, literally fresh out of lockdown. It was the 4th of July, when it the first day that we were actually legally allowed to jump on
lockdown, like the legal
lockdown. And we booked it about 5 minutes past midnight or something like that.
Like that.
The first available one, which was all legit and stuff. And then,
wait, so 5 minutes past midnight on the 4th. Yeah. So you just been waiting for that clock.
Literally.
Go.
Gagging to go because not doing any fishing, we were itching to go.
Yeah. But that went south.
Not very well.
Well, the thing is, we had a pretty.
I haven't seen it, so I mean, you can
to be
spoil
fair,
it.
we skipped over most of it because I don't know. We included a bit of the kind of the first.
Well, originally we had quite a solid plan.
Yeah,
we knew where we was going to go.
Yeah,
and it was like quite easy fishing, public lake, out the back of the van, jobby. That was the full on plan. And then we kind of we got access to a few pins, a few different lakes, and we got all excited. It was like, fuck it, we know we've seen this other lake before. We'll just go and have a look at these new places. Got to the first one. It was quite cool, wasn't it?
Yeah,
real snaggy, sort of like jungly vibes, but it was kind of really murky and it was really busy. So we flung the rods out for a couple of hours and then sort of looked at what other pins we had. And then, before you know it, the next pin's 2 hours away. Get there, that's shit. Next pin's 2 hours away. Yeah. That's the whole day kind of withering away.
Yeah, ran away from us, didn't it?
Yeah, it did a bit. And then eventually ended up on, obviously, another public lake full of boats and inflatables.
Yeah,
and
very busy.
Very busy.
With anglers or?
No, public.
Public. Like there was restaurants and bars literally next to this lake and people jumping in, being towed by boats and stuff like that. And we was like, oh, this is cool. All right, it's getting late. So we had a couple of beers actually, didn't we, in the restaurant, waiting for it to quiet down a little bit. And obviously we haven't eaten, you haven't slept. She's all a bit like, all right, kind of, let's do this. And then, ended up, doubling up on this little point thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got the boat out of the van, pumped that up, hand placed the rigs. Well, I did anyway. Hand placed it, and Lou was out on the boat, and all of a sudden, the head of the garde de pêche of the area was standing behind me. He was like shouting at me in French. I was like, "Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't speak French. I'm really sorry." Pulled the best French out of my ass and had a good go. To be fair, and he appreciated it. And he's like, "Look, you've got to go." I was just like, "Okay, well, we've just been awake for 36 hours. We've been here." I've sort of said to him, we were booked on this holiday venue. They've been double booked and we've got nowhere to fish. And he was like, "Look, I'm really sorry, you've got to go." And I was just like, right, okay, I'm not sure if we're allowed boats in here. And Lou's behind me, just over his shoulder.
Hey Tris, I found a great spot.
I don't know this guy. Never seen him in my life.
So he started zigzagging his lines across this weed. No one would ever fucking.
I'm not very good in a boat.
The wind's kicking
mate.
on. Anyway, so I'm slowly starting to get this guard to come round because it turns out you've got to book
that swim.
You're not allowed to night fish in this particular area we were at, and there was no signs or anything. Legitimately, no signs or anything. We didn't know anything about it. And he's just starting to come round, and I'm thinking, right, I've got him here. And then Lou just popped out the boat, and he's just gone, "Is this your boat?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Strictly, no boats on here, no boats on here." And he was like, "Right, sir, sorry, yeah, you've got to go." And I sort of said to him, "Okay, if you want us to go, and like you genuinely need us to go, we'll go. But if we don't."
Like, what would happen?
Like, sort of
the politest way of saying that.
Pretty much. So I was like, if
we just needed to sleep.
It was so
the barbecue was on. I had rods out. They were rocking. Like,
they were good, weren't they?
And eventually he was just like, I didn't see. I'd just be gone for first light. Just get the boat in a fucking van.
Didn't even need 20 euros in his front pocket.
I offered him a beer.
You generous man.
Yeah, but no, that was.
It's your French mate. Paid off here.
That's the thing. To be fair, they do genuinely appreciate it.
Yeah,
like, I don't speak French by any stretch, but I can sort of make my way in conversation.
We try.
And yeah, he was sort of accommodating, to say the least. But then we chipped off in the morning in the pissing down rain with a blank. And let's go find somewhere
Did you tell him you were a bailiff? And he was just like, one of me, one of my own, like brothers.
Don't mean to show off, but have you seen this badge?
He's seen this badge, right?
See, whenever I go away, like whenever I've had any instance with the garde pêche, I'm always with someone who's from Belgium or France, and I'm just like, talk to him.
This guy.
Talk to him for me. Yeah. I think it saved us a couple of times. There was one time a garde pêche come bowling round, screaming and shouting at me and Loz, my mate I was over there with, and it's because a couple of locals had I'd caught a catfish at this big river, and a couple of locals who were catfishing illegally, because I think they were using live baits.
Oh, right.
Had gone, those English guys, they're using live baits. So he's come bowling over and he's shouting at me, like looking in all my buckets. I was like, what is this guy doing? I was like, yo, like shouting my Belgian mate to come help us. And but like in that situation, I'd been useless. Like, 'cause he thinks I'm fishing for catfish with live baits, and like, how do you even start to explain that? But
go on, give it a go.
Bonjour. Mon ami.
Catfish? No.
Yeah. So I would have struggled, but you've had some success on some of your videos, haven't you? You've really smashed it.
Yeah, we've done well. Got lucky a few times.
Lucky, look at you.
Humble.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you make it, but it's just happened right, isn't it? It's just gone right.
Yeah.
And it's happened to be on the times when we're filming. Because we've been on trips and not filmed, but the ones that we have done, we've been fortunate enough that it's slotted into place and gone well.
Have you got a highlight in terms of what films you've made, or a highlight of what moments you've captured on film?
Yeah, I've got
difficult to pin one.
I'd say for me, the getting my revenge on that lake.
Okay.
Going back, and because in the road trip, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
not all of them. No.
In the Crater and Path, the road trip, I did all right through the other countries. Managed to nick a few fish, but got to this French lake and I just couldn't get a bite. I really tried. I tried everything I could do. I had a lot of shallow water in my swim, to my defence. To the right hand side. And they were just sitting in the deep water. And I did move. I tried fishing for them over the weed, and I just couldn't get a bite anyway. So that film sort of came to an end. It was all on a high. It was a group effort. It was a brilliant experience, but I just couldn't leave it alone. I just couldn't. I had to go back there. So me and Kieran, we say this in the film, but we were watching the weather on the Met Office app.
And just to put it in context, Kieran is another lad who has done a bit of work for you.
Yep.
Behind the camera, right?
Yep. Comes along on the video shoots, helps us out at the shows, helps us out on big deliveries. He's like one of our best mates, right hand man. And we were watching the weather. This big low was coming in, this big bit of weather, some rain, some clouds. It was all looking good for that area of France, and we just booked it and went and got the revenge that I needed. I caught a really nice one. Caught like
even more
upper
rewarding.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
I speak to a few people, again, they experience exactly the same thing. They'll go to a lake, it get right under their skin, where they haven't quite cracked it the first time round, and then it's all you think about until you go back out there.
It really was. I couldn't, because I was like, it's the only one to not catch, so I've got to go back. And it went really well.
And to catch all of that on camera.
Yeah.
You can always look back on that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's really good memories. Like we love making films because it just stays with you.
Yeah.
Look back on it in 10 years' time when I've probably got more grey hair hidden under the cap.
You've always got a catch pair on then.
Yeah, it's nice to look back on. It's cool.
I think I spoke to you before, Lou, one of the shows or something, when we mentioned just your European fishing and that.
Yeah.
And I suppose you as well, Tris. How do you find it impacts your UK fishing? Does it ruin it a little bit for you?
It does a bit, to be honest, doesn't it? It's the freedom and the unknown that you can get out there. You know, the massive expanses of water, just the massive amounts of water in general, different waters, canals and rivers and waterways everywhere. It's it just makes you feel so limited in the UK, and obviously the amount of anglers there are in the UK in comparison to over there. Like we fished a couple of 100 acres of water at one time when there's no other angler in sight, you know, no other boats in sight, no other people, and you just
fish how you want.
Fish how you want. You're there to catch the fish. No real rules or anything. You are there solely to try and catch carp.
Fish.
Yeah.
But that in comparison to the UK, where, you know, the first thing on my mind when I go to my syndicate, for example, is anyone in that swim? Is anyone at that end of the lake? Like, I know where the wind's going, I know where I want to be, but if there's someone there fishing, you can't fish it.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just such a contrast in angling.
Yeah.
In general here, over here.
It's just kind of relit it for me because, like I said, I did used to do a lot of fishing over here. Have done all the way up until we started doing these trips, and just finding the time to squeeze it in has meant that I've not been fishing much at all in the UK. Like over the last couple of years, I think I did maybe 2 sessions in England last year. I've done one over here this year, and it's just putting the time aside to go and have a proper session and fish how we want to fish is just a completely new like buzz for fishing. It's completely relit the flame. You know, this public fishing that we've been doing, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. But we're sort of building our equipment, aren't we? We're very new to it. Very new to it. And, you know, we're building up the places that we can go with our pins.
It's a whole new type of fishing, isn't it?
Oh,
Like you say, you
definitely.
need a whole new set of fishing stuff, really. Like,
Definitely.
It takes a lot of research
at this
as
point,
well.
like, we're choosing the lakes to fish, you know, with what we've got. Sort of thing. So
right,
we're
depending
trying
on what you can actually fish.
Exactly. Like, we've got locations all over the place that are, you know, massive expanses of water, but you need a boat, you need a sonar, you need all sorts. But for us, we're just trying to like pick out the little lakes or the smaller lakes, the manageable lakes that we can fish comfortably with the equipment that we've got. There's no point in going somewhere just because you know it's got big carp in it when it's not. You're pissing in the wind with it, really.
I know people who have gone out to France to big public lakes, like undergunned massively. And they've gone out and like they're leading about in 100 foot deep and 130 hectares. And
massive.
Just like
we're kind of picking the right sort of
picking the venues.
Picking the venues that suit our angling. We've never fished big waters over here. We are building the equipment to do it because there's a lot of it over there in various different countries. There's a lot of big waters out there, but at the moment, like you said, we're just picking the waters that we feel would suit our kind of intimate style of angling that we would do over here. And just doing it over there.
There is a lot over there as well, which
loads.
are very quintessential English kind of waters,
English style fishing,
but they're just on a different level.
It's just
exactly
natural.
Or even just going prepared and say in case stuff doesn't go to plan.
Yeah.
Like what we were saying a minute ago, where we've gone from having a pretty solid plan to then visiting 6 different lakes and 6 different venues and stretches of river and all sorts until you're actually happy to fish. Like, it doesn't matter what your plan is originally, that might change. And if you've got a boat and bigger rods or whatever in the van to accommodate what could be coming.
You have to take a lot of gear, didn't you?
With your journey with Woof then, have you met a lot of friends out in Europe? Or how is it out in Europe for you in terms of the demand out in there? Is that growing quicker than the UK, would you say?
It's growing. UK's like our sort of our stronghold, if you know what I mean. Like we've got good, really, really, really good like fan base over here. But we've always had the European side since the very start. You know, I remember when I was still running parcels to the post office, we were getting orders from like USA, Italy.
Really?
Yeah. Even as far as like Greece, Portugal, Spain, France. We've had it all the way along, but definitely since we've been better set up with our distribution, working with different partners, you know, shipping partners, it's definitely growing because it's easier. It's, you know, we can get a parcel to France in 2 days. We can get a parcel to Germany in 2 days from order. You know, order on Monday, they've got it by Wednesday, and I think that's it's crucial to building that that whole fan base. I guess it's part of it. It's having the trust as well. Different ways to pay that suit the Europeans. We do have retailers as well.
I was just about to ask that. You've got European retailers.
Yeah, we have some European retailers dotted around. Not loads, just a few, just enough for like each area. That's growing. We had inquiries this morning actually when I've been waiting for an Italian one. Yeah, but it's constantly growing all the time. And
I think the more we're going out and doing these little filming trips abroad and stuff like that and releasing these films of new areas and new countries, all of a sudden people stumbling across that on the likes of YouTube or any social media really and just thinking, oh, I know that lake, and all of a sudden they'll, you know, see the brand and think, who are these guys sort of thing, and then like, or just as soon as you notice something, you notice it more, don't you? If you think you see a new hat from someone and you think, oh, that's that brand, and then you see a different hat from the same brand from someone else, it's like just building up common knowledge about the brand, really. And as soon as you see visiting lakes and stuff that they know,
and a lot of those guys you hook up with, I guess they're just fans of the brand who have messaged you.
I mean,
they're
we've got like the guys who came to Zwolle, like they're like our like best pals, like they're like in our really close friendship circle,
right?
They've just become friends through the brand, which is amazing.
It's cool.
So we've ended up, you know, it probably always starts with getting tagged in a few pictures, and then it's the more regular tags that you start recognizing more often.
And then, can I use your content?
And then it's like,
you have a little chat.
That's an amazing fish capture or an amazing image, and you get talking over social network, and it's becomes a bit more than that. Exchange numbers, and then you're talking about going out there. Like, are you about? Should we meet? Like, do you want to meet? And then the friendship just builds from there. And we had them all helping us out at the show last year in Zwolle, and it's just it just cements it even more. Like spending a few nights with people like in that environment, you always sort of bond a bit more.
How does Zwolle go for you?
Yeah,
because that's quite a big step.
Yeah,
you know,
it was.
Jumping into that European market face to face.
Yeah,
not just as a brand, and you've got a few people from this city, that city. People are coming to see you at Zwolle.
Yeah.
Because that was correct me if I'm wrong. Did you try and go the year before?
Yeah.
And did he turn you down, or you turned it down?
I think it's just such a like big list of people that want to exhibit there.
Yeah.
It was a case of just joining the list. We'd been together. We'd scoped it out a few times.
Because I think I remember seeing you the year before.
And
having a chat there. Yeah, and you were just having a mooch.
Having a mooch around. Yeah, just having a look and sort of
areas where we'd like to be and stuff.
Yeah, it's a big show. I mean, if anyone from the UK listening to this hasn't been, when it's back on or whatever,
weekend of it,
it's a good weekend. Yeah, there's a lot to see. There's a lot of different things that are there that aren't over here. And it takes a long time to get around it. It's a really busy show.
Because obviously they've changed venue. I know it's been cancelled for 2021 now, but Den Haag? Was it Den Haag?
Something. Yeah,
I might be wrong, but
exactly
whether or not that's big or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's no way it can be smaller, can it?
So it's going to be moving forwards.
Yeah, that's it's a 3-day show. So
yeah, big show. But no, it was really good. It was really good for us as a sort of trial run. We got the space that we were kind of given really, because there is quite a long list to wait. Yeah. People were finding us. We were seeing a lot of people walking around wearing our stuff.
Was there a worry at any point that is it quite an investment of money actually to go over there with the stock and pay for your stand and that sort of thing? Was there a bit of a worry that no one's going to know us? Like we'll see like one or two. Was there?
We went in confident, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like, We always do everything
classic
the best we can do it.
Grab and go,
just embrace it and
like,
see what happens. But we didn't hold back, did we? We weren't massively confident with the area we originally took, but
for the stand.
For the stand, I mean, within the show. But we
where were you?
We were right at the back of Hall 4.
Yeah. One of the smaller halls.
One of the smaller halls. Yeah, there was a hall and then like a curtain, and then through the back. We were right on the back wall.
Was there a lot? Is that the one with a lot of smaller bait companies and that sort of thing in it?
Yeah,
I know there's one where it's like a lot of smaller stands, smaller bait companies.
Yeah. Right at the back.
Bit of worry then when you got.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it would be quite a gamble, but we came away pleased with the feedback that we were getting. A lot of people trying stuff on, a lot of people purchasing new items, and we met some people who had followed us since the very early days.
Yeah, cool.
That had probably been some of them people, like I mentioned, that placed the orders, earlier on in our sort of journey, and they're still like following us and buying our stuff now, and that's nearly 10 years next year.
Yeah.
So it's quite mad. I still find it because I don't get out onto the lakes much these days. I still see someone wearing something, and it's like it's a cool feeling.
Do
you
see people bowling around town and that? And you're just like,
randomly. Sometimes randomly, especially in Chelmsford. Some anglers in Chelmsford, obviously, that buy and wear our stuff.
Yeah, I do. Like, if I'm just walking around and I just see someone with a Wofte t-shirt on, I'm just like, angler? He's an angler. Or I see sometimes, that page on the tools.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just see some dude on there with one of them on. I think, that's it.
I saw that
as well.
Yeah, but it's still, we still get that.
It's so satisfying though.
Very
Especially
satisfying.
if you don't have a clue who that person is and you're just like, pack that.
So that hasn't worn off yet. Cool.
No,
yeah, that's wicked.
It's like we've spotted it on TV as well a few times.
Have you really?
Yeah. There was I think it's maybe one in the bed, one on the bed, one in the bed.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
What have you been watching?
I don't know.
What channel? Yeah.
What time was this on?
The little one in the bed. I don't know. But spotted. Actually got a picture of the screen from my sister saying, "Oh, there's someone on this TV program watching it right now. He's got one of your hoodies on."
That's
like, that's amazing.
I think I've seen someone in a club before.
Have you?
I'm sure I've been out and gone, oh God, you like fishing? What a chat. I'll get
probably me. I'm out with you, Al.
There's definitely a possibility. That depends what point in the night.
Yeah. But I mean, people have bought our clothing not just to wear on the bank either. It's been like that for a long time.
Like I said, that's one of the main things that drew me to your brand initially. Is it wasn't like a great big huge fish. Across it, and like, this is a fishing t-shirt.
Yeah,
it is camo. It is. Yeah.
It just reminded me about something there, Luke.
Yeah,
I obviously knew you before. I think this is when you were starting up, because I used to work in a tackle shop.
Yes,
and you were repping for another company, just supplying a bit. And had it started then? Were you in the process? Because then I remember seeing the brand, I was like, I know that chap. Like, he used to come in the shop, and then I was just jogged my memory then. Actually.
I did. I remember coming to see you actually. Yeah, because I haven't really mentioned before, but I have worked in the industry for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I worked for a bait factory. When I was 16, I started working there. They were based 10 minutes down the road from me. I think I inquired to be a field tester or something to try and purchase bait a bit cheaper at the time when I was younger, and got offered a job as a result of when the guy came round to drop the bait off, said, like, how old are you? Are you looking for work? And I obliged and went down to have a look at the factory, and I was like in my element. There was bait factories, like much like yours. It's like an Aladdin's cave, isn't it? There's stuff everywhere. Yeah. There's liquid bottles here and there, and it really grabbed me. And
what company was it?
It was Crafty Catcher.
Right, yeah.
So they used to be
big outfit then.
Yeah, like a manufacturing for like other brands and all sorts. It wasn't actually a brand at the time. They had their own in-house brand, but it was another brand that got sold on. But so I worked there from 16. I had a gap year between school. Was it between schools? I went straight to college. No, sorry, yeah. So straight after school, I had a gap year, and I worked there full time.
Right.
And then basically worked up to, so I've been rolling bait, packing liquids, sticking labels on bottles, done all of it, cooking and everything. Like I've done all of that, and then when it got sold, went through to be a salesman because I knew the product from like an early age. I knew it inside and out, and went and basically was a rep on the road, which is when I met you.
Yeah,
when I come down to show the shop some new items in the catalogue. So yeah, I've kind of had that connection with the industry for a long time.
Right, yeah.
Since I was 16. So
funny how things work out all the time. You sort of meet again, don't you, in carp fishing? Like in the UK, it's one community.
Small, innit?
It's a small industry,
really niche. But
yeah, comes around in a circle, and yeah. So,
Sick, sick. Yeah. And in terms of like, obviously, you've done a couple of cool collabs with people now, haven't you?
Yep.
How did, because we were on the phone yesterday, you're saying that it doesn't really happen in
fishing. No, I think.
But it's quite, is it a common thing in the clothing industry?
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
Right.
certainly in streetwear. People collab all the time. It's a really good project. I mean, obviously, it's different brands, different sizes, from different walks. To come together for this sort of collective project. It's brilliant for the fans of those brands to see them working together, like in harmony, and producing items together and working together. So we kind of wanted to bring this in to the fishing industry because we hadn't really seen it before. When we started concepting with Geo,
that was your first one with Geo.
Yeah, first one was with Geo from Monkey Climber over in Belgium, and that friendship goes back to like the really early days of the brand. We've hadn't physically met until a few years later, but we'd always kept in touch with each other over Instagram, Facebook. We both did, and it was always like, one day we'll do something together. Like one day we'll do something together, and then I think that was that 3 years ago now?
Must have been 17.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to do something, and just did it.
Yeah,
and again, just like we always do, we just went over there and met up, sorted out all the bits and bobs, and came together with a design. And that was just a T-shirt for that one, and like a mug and sticker set.
And I love how it's like you guys aren't competitors because you're quite similar in terms of obviously they've got the whole magazine side of things, which is probably their main, but they are a cool fishing brand.
Yeah, definitely.
I love how it's not like they're competitors. No, you know, it's
that was the whole thing. We wanted to work in harmony with each other from a sort of similar discipline as well.
Yeah,
share that underground. Sort of branding.
Yeah,
so, that is cool. Like you say, it's not so much see you as an enemy. It's just like, do you know what?
Let's do something together.
Let's make something cool. Like,
and it's the same with the sub one last year. It's the same kind of story. Like we share similar interests in various things, and it all just came together and was like, let's just do it. Let's get this out there and like show people we are all working in harmony. Like it's not you against you against you against. Let's get together.
The passion,
it's the same. It's the same people, that buy our bits, that buy Sub, that buy Monkey Climber, buy Nash.
Of course. And also like you like their stuff. I bet you buy bits off them. It's not like I'm never going to wear like that.
No, we've got stuff from both them brands. Like we wear it all the time.
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity came up to work with Nash, it was again. It goes back years.
Yeah, because
we've been friends for years.
As we're filming this, no one knows, but by the time this is out, people will hopefully would have seen it, and it's gone really well.
So.
But we've done a collab.
Yeah.
Well, I say I have nothing to do with it. I'm just the one wearing the tee today. But
plug.
Yeah, I'm keeping this.
If there's any left by this time.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully it's gone down really well.
Yeah.
How did this all come about then?
We've known the Nash guys for ages, really. Isn't
it
we?
has been ages as well, and like I think, especially at shows, we'll always bowl over. You've got the music pumping and that sort of thing. Like
go for a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've always got on.
Yeah,
pretty well.
So you've known Wilson. Wilson probably the longest, haven't you? You bumped into Wilson at an old club lake.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, he fished on a lake that I was fishing, and we were sort of fishing together in a way, not like planning anything, but we were there at the same time. He was doing overnighters, and
was that what's it called?
It was Free Lakes. Yeah. And taking shots, taking pictures for each other, capture pictures, and going down for a brew after work, keeping in touch with the lake and all that kind of thing. So that friendship with Wilson's been there for a long time. That was many years ago now.
Since then, I've bumped into him at a few festivals.
Yeah. Like obviously, you boys are so local. They're so like we're very close in terms of proximity to each other.
Yeah. Like we've been to the parties and stuff. And like we're friendly with all of you.
Yeah, so exactly.
It was just for us. That was already there.
Yeah,
so
we'd spoken about it for a long time, and it was always sort of like we wanted to do 3 big collabs within fishing.
Yeah,
and you were in the firing line for the third one, really.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's all sort of come through.
Yeah, obviously obliged to do it. I said to you on the phone yourself, Tom, I wasn't going to really say it, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. And you'll know.
I don't know what's coming.
We get slated a little bit for, like, internally in Nash. Like, I know Alan's in the firing line sometimes because he shouldn't wear that because it's not Nash gear, especially on the films and that sort of thing. And he's always been of the mindset of like, no, I like it. I'll wear it because I like it. I'm never going to be fake in front of a camera. I'm never going to, put Nash hat on, Nash this, Nash that, and never leave the house in anything but Nash. When it's the same with me and Alf and Wilson, like we'll wear it because we like it. And if it goes in front of a camera, sometimes there's people within the company, more sales guys, who aren't happy. I'm gonna get slated for this. Who aren't happy, but they're a bit like, guys, can you wear Nash stuff instead of promoting? But it's all part of it, I think. It's a lot of transparency. We don't want to be fake and pretend to be people we're not. We'll wear what we want, and with you boys, it's obviously we've never hidden anything. It's we're big fans of the brand, and that's why I think the collab works so well.
Definitely,
it's because we are fans of it anyway. You guys are fans anyway.
It's nice because it hasn't just come out of the blue.
No, we've always already in your wardrobe.
Yeah, it's not like you've just bowled up to a big company and gone, we can make some money here. Like, hi guys, can we? It's just been.
It's just there. It's already organic. There. Yeah, very organic.
Yeah. And design wise, how did it all go? Did you come in for a meeting with Al and Kev and?
Yeah, we came in before Christmas 2019. It's been a long time coming. Like it's been a long development process. But we came in and basically just pitched the idea. The idea was new. I think Al mentioned it to Kev, and he said, "Yeah, okay, like have them in. So, like we'll see what comes out." And we just had a chat. All got along really well. And basically, left the meeting with the green light to get moving on it, and we did exactly that pretty much. From that meeting, we started to concept ideas. We've got an illustrator who was a friend of mine from uni, and he's done the artwork for all 3 collabs. So there are some symmetry with them. They've come from the same illustrator. It's the same style. But they're tailored to each of the collabs.
Yeah.
So we brought him in and got him in to start brainstorming concept and ideas. We looked at the original Nash logo, the fish, and thought that it was so strong and powerful with the brands that we wanted to keep that, and created the artwork around that, which is kind of what we've done with all of them. And then,
so you had the monkey climber hand.
Yep.
With sub, that was it. Yeah, with sub, you had the helmet.
Helmet.
I love the spin your illustrators put on it all. It's very, very raw, very 3D, very almost cartoony a little bit. Which is, and then obviously the Nash fish one. I like it. We'll put them all up as this goes, but it looks wicked. Cheers. I like the hat, how it's like with the t-shirt and that it's got the illustrator, but that as well has got the more traditional logo on it, which is a bit more. I think it's wicked, and obviously it's your camo.
Shadow camo.
Shadow camo. All of our fabrics and all of our cuts, really, isn't it? It's essentially our garments that we've sort of like to think we've perfected over time, and we've got to a stage where we're confident to put anything on it. And and
hopefully people can't get one because they've already all sold out.
Hopefully, it was quite fairly limited numbers. So
It's nice to keep it exclusive. We were saying earlier, weren't we? Like, it's nice to try and keep it exclusive and sort of in demand, sort of get it all in, get a big influx of people buying it straight away.
Yeah, massively.
Hopefully sort of sell out relatively quickly. It just makes it all that more special.
Yeah, that limited edition run and all that. Yeah,
then
it's holding on.
Hence why I'm keeping this. I'll definitely forget about it. It's like, the launch was last night, sold out. No.
Yeah, don't forget about us, because that happens a lot. We go, even with us, so we've just released some t-shirts. Oh, I'll grab some out of stock. It's just like, can't even wear my own company's.
No, we do that all the time.
Does it really with you boys?
All the time, and especially when we're starting to do smaller runs of things now.
Yeah,
right.
For the exact same reason, keeping it sort of fresh and moving. A lot of the time, we'll do a launch, print it all, get it on a website. Think, oh, sick. Well, I'll have a large one of them on Monday.
Yeah,
fuck's sake, sold out again.
Yeah.
Do you not just go? This one might get lost in the post. Just take it out.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, sometimes it goes quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah,
don't even get it ourselves.
Yeah, that's mad.
Well, don't forget about these ones.
No,
otherwise you won't put a podcast out.
Ransom. I knew there'd be some ransom.
I said we got you, mate.
I'm buzzing. I think it's going to go down really well.
It looks the bollocks. That's the best way to describe it.
Thank you very much.
Bollocks.
And you can't have that t-shirt because this afternoon we're filming a promo with Al with it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Not his size. I didn't see it's not his size. It's not going to work,
I think
mate.
it fits me a bit, but he's a bit too big and gangly, isn't he? But no, I think the collabs work brilliantly. I think they're wicked.
Thank you very much.
Plans for any more? Or are you just going to see how these go down? Let's actually not. If you have got plans, you're never going to tell us anyway.
No.
Not sure. Not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe
we wanted to do the big three within fishing. If it suits, and maybe down the line in the future, maybe another one. But certainly will be more collabs that aren't in fishing. I'd like to think.
Cool. Down
there in the pipeline. Sort of sticking to those kind of street vibes that we were saying about. And
that's the thing. It's kind of where we touched on earlier about us sort of broadening the brand a little bit. I mean, we're still strictly within our, carp fishing market. We're still going to continuously produce new items for carp anglers, but we are broadening out. Where we're seeing so many people ask for other colours or other items for wearing down the pub, socialising with your friends.
And on the other side of that, stuff that's also practical for fishing. Like I know you got your Sherpa jacket, smocks and that sort of thing. It's not just this is cool fashion brand. Like it is genuinely decent.
A lot of time and effort goes into a lot of the sort of more technical pieces that we do for specifically. That's the cliche thing by anglers for anglers and that, but it is. We have designed it for carp anglers on the bank.
Yeah.
We've got like all sorts of
usually for our own fishing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, we'll design stuff around how we want it. And if it suits us in our fishing and how we want it to fit and be functional, then it hopefully be suitable for other people.
Yeah, if it works for you, then there's hundreds and thousands of other people that are in the same boat. So
yeah,
awesome.
That's how we work, isn't it?
Have you got plans? What's the goal for the next 5 years with Wofte? Because obviously, from 5 years ago till now, madness.
So much.
What's going to happen in the next 5 years?
Keep doing what we're doing. Really, we want to increase the range.
Yeah,
more. We want to have a lot more options.
Bed chairs, alarms, rods.
No, we'll leave that to you. No, we'll stick within our. We've sort of built up that experience and knowledge within the fishing, within the clothing, manufacturing side of things. We'll always do that.
Yeah.
So it's just literally just to continue on. Like I said, we've got this print studio now, and we've only used it a few times. There's so much more that we are going to be doing, especially next year in the spring. We've got a lot more like new in-house techniques that we're going to be using for the fishing industry. Never ever been done, brand new.
Yeah, see, that's mega. Like a lot of the new companies, I don't want to slate any companies, but a lot of small clothing companies, they're not thinking about that.
No,
they just get some stuff in off the website and to get it out to someone else. Like, I think that's what's going to keep you on top and keep pushing forward. I think it's sick.
Keep it
that's
fresh.
That's what we wanted. Yeah, keep it fresh, keep it new, keep it updated. But yeah, next year spring will be very interesting. Autumn winter this year's we've put stacks of work into autumn winter. And it's like we're already working on spring because autumn winter's all signed off being made. It's nearly here, and that's one thing we do work ahead a lot. We're normally a season ahead, so if it's about
which is pretty hard in clothing,
very hard, and it's hard for the calendar as well because we've always got next year's calendar underneath the current year's because it always spills over. it does mess your head up a little bit sometimes, especially me. Like when are we here? Are we in? Are we out? Are we there? Are we, do I need to book anything? Are we away? What's coming in? A box of samples will turn up sometimes, and we don't even know what's going to be in
Which
it.
ones they are,
Because it could be stuff that we need now, or it could be for next year. But yeah, 5 years, I continue growing.
Yeah.
And see where it goes. Probably add a few more people.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
More fishing, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because that's suffering.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully a bit more fishing, more trips, more mad trips abroad. Grow the company, keep adding people.
We're at the stage now we can sort of kind of just add people.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
We've got
We've
the
set
print
it up.
all the storage, everything.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm sure it'll happen.
We'll come back in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think hopefully we'll have you back soon, and then you have a few more
Yeah.
stories for us and more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, once we've done a bit more fishing, I'm sure a few more stories will.
And obviously you came in today and brought us a lovely little package, so hopefully there'll be
Care
another
package, mate.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't nicked it all, like they managed to secure me a 5-panel.
Yep.
I did. I've pinched that for you early, so I know
Bagsied
you're
one.
quite partial to a 5-panel.
Yeah, I'm going to go back in there. It's going to be nothing.
It's the one day the office has been empty for ages,
Yeah.
and then there's 1,000 people in at once
it's been
today.
mad.
It's going to
Busy
be
today.
rinsed. Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
busy.
And it doesn't help that we're having the offices renovated and
Yep.
there is zero room because like all the rooms are empty and we're all piled into this one tiny room. And
Looking good though. It's
Yeah,
getting there,
getting
isn't
there.
it? Getting
Yeah.
there.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah, man.
No, it's
Yeah,
very
this
pretty.
is by,
Very
this
good
is
job.
the creme de
Is
la
this your
creme.
handiwork, both of you, done this
Yeah.
room? Yeah.
Well, you did this side.
Dan's quiet.
Both of us, wasn't it, Alf?
All right, we'll just who?
Alf made this chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the rest. No, it was a team effort. It's like that with
It's
all
really
the
good.
offices. We're all pitched into,
Yeah.
and we're not quite finished yet.
No, I just noticed our shelves are looking a little bit poorly. I don't know if
Yeah,
the
I don't-
camera's going to
I-
pick it up.
No, it's not going to see it, but
Yeah, we're going to get a nice picture on the wall and
Yeah,
might even
nice.
hang a garment up, Dan.
Yay.
Yeah, that the
I'm
cameras
pointing-
can see.
Yeah, I'm pointing at one of the new garments. I'll just maybe frame it. Thanks, boys, for coming in.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having us.
Have you
Yeah, it's a
enjoyed
pleasure.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. Experience.
It's been
Yeah,
good.
I know there's a little bit worried about your first podcast.
Yeah.
It's different, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit different to filming, isn't it? But at least you
Yeah.
haven't got to worry about
Editing it.
takes or anything. Already,
know,
I haven't got to edit it,
Yeah.
which is great. So I don't have to look at myself anymore.
That's
Yeah.
when Dan hasn't pressed record.
Oh god.
New mics and that.
Do you know what? The
Yeah.
amount of times, hopefully, he'll cut so he won't see me going.
Yeah.
Like just making sure it's all still rolling. Yeah, because like filming them's pretty new to us.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
so
not
we
as
actually
you-
make a proper effort.
Do much filming though, is it really?
Nah.
Edgy angles.
Is it? Is that right? Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
We've got places to be.
We
I
have.
certainly do.
We've
Yeah.
got to go and film a promo for this.
Go and pin a certain person down.
Yeah.
Good luck.
God, yeah, good luck, mate.
It sounds like another day in the office of Alan by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. It's
Following
gonna be
him round.
crazy.
Cool. Looking forward
Cool.
to it. Be
Yeah,
good.
cheers for coming in,
Thanks
boys.
for coming in,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thanks
Yeah.
again for having us. Cheers.
No worries.